and we lost him. I share this with you because you need to begin with the end in mind of your life. Who do you want to be in those moments? What do you want to accomplish? Who do you want to help? What emotions do you want to have had? What's going to matter to you? What are the memories going to be? What's your legacy going to be? My dad's not on Instagram. My dad's not worth millions of dollars, but he lived a rich life. And so can you. If your parents have passed away or are gone or someone you love, honor them with who you become. I'm honoring him right now. I'm honoring him with this book. I'm honoring him with who I'm trying to become in my life. Let me ask you a question. When these one mores are gone, and you got one left, and I say, now you get it. Well, that one more rep matters, doesn't it? That one more call matters, doesn't it? That one more thing, well, they're huge when you don't have any more of them. They're huge. What if I said to you, if you have children, like these precious parents in Texas, when they left that day, you have one more moment with them. You get one more talk with that precious child of yours. Now, how would you approach those times you see your children? We see them all, hey, babe, hey, let me get off the phone. Stop that. What if it was one more time you get to, this person you're in love with that you're married to, your girlfriend, I said you get one more chance to hold their hand, one more dance with them. What if you started to approach when you saw them now? How do they have one more? How much more precious and beautiful and magnified is the moment? What if you approached your meeting that way the next, what if this is my last meeting? This is my last post. The last person I'm going to meet here at this event. The last person online I'm texting with. The magnitude, the life changes when you understand the power of one more. You understand them. And I want this event to change your life. I want you to start to say, my gosh, I'll get all these tools, yeah. I'll help all these families in Texas, yeah. But I started by telling you, your life matters. Someday you'll be my dad. Someday I'll be my dad. And when I picked up my dad's stuff, my dad was a quiet man. I had no idea. My dad worked hard. He provided good for his family. And my mom said, will you go upstairs and pick up your dad's stuff for me? I don't want to go up. And I went up into my dad's bathroom and I saw the stuff he prays with in his book. And then all over his counter were these index cards with names and dates on them. And some of them are people's birthdays, and some of them are their really important birthday, which is their sobriety birthday. These are all people my dad paid forward like the person helped him. So remember that guy that helped my dad or that woman? My dad did that for thousands of people, and I didn't know it. This is just August. Just one of the cards for August. These are the July people. In fact, when I'd go around town, most people would see my dad go, is Ed Mylett your son? Is Ed Mylett your son? But every once in a while when I drive around, people go, is Ed Mylett your dad? And I'd go, yeah. They go, I can't tell you, but he called me on my birthday. What my dad would do is write down their sobriety birthday and call each of these hundreds of them, thousands of them, hey, happy birthday. Do it one more day. Do it one more day. In fact, my dad never celebrated his actual birthday again after that day in the car. My dad celebrated only his sobriety birthday. Only my dad, by the way, would get sober on 4/20. That's my dad's sobriety birthday. Only that clown, only that dude. And we did it. My dad didn't want a funeral service, so we didn't do one, but then all of his friends in his program did. And my dad had this weird thing. My dad worked in like the Beverly Hills fancy area, but we kind of lived in like average middle America, sometimes hood. So at my dad's life celebration, all kinds of people stood up. And something that's I've heard thousands of times, I heard differently this time. Because person after person got up and said, Ed Mylett changed my life. Except it wasn't me, it was him. The first one got up, he was a very well-known actor. Hey, listen, I was at a meeting and this quiet man walked across and extended his hand and said, I'm Ed Mylett. I'm here to help you. And that led to 30 years of coffee shop talks, late night text messages, phone calls, always telling me one more day, one more decision. Next person gets up, woman, Ed Mylett changed my life 24 years ago. I was in Pomona at a meeting and he walked up and said, I'm Ed, if I could ever help you. And he helped me get sober. And that led to him picking me up at a bar when I was about to drink and coming over at midnight and pulling me out of somewhere. 6 a.m. text messages, 5:30 a.m. breakfast. Next guy gets up, big, huge Samoan dude. I was incarcerated for 20 years. I never liked a white man or a white person in my life. I got out, I had to go to a mandatory meeting. This man in a red sweater walked up to me, looked like Mr. Rogers. This is the same dude who beat a guy up at church 30 years ago and said, I'm Ed Mylett. And this guy says, he had the kindest eyes, these blue eyes. He was a man's man, but he was so gentle and kind. He said, hey, if I can ever help you, I've been sober for 20 years now. I've had thousands of conversations with Ed Mylett. In fact, before my dad died, he was on oxygen, struggling to breathe, and his phone was ringing. And he's Debbie, that's my mom's name. Debbie, who's on the phone? Who's on the phone? Mom goes, you can't take a phone call right now. She said, it's Raul. No one would know my dad did this. It's not getting posted on Instagram, but you get your standards in life. Give me the phone. 20 minutes on the phone. One more day, brother. One more day. You got this. Helping person after person, just like he was helped. I believe you were born to do something great with your life. I think I said that in the beginning. And I think there's some big ways you're gonna do it, and I think there's little ways that seem small, that have ripple effects. My dad lived a great life. He was both happy and successful because he helped people. The day my dad got sober, he came back and got me a job that changed my life. He said, I was living in his house, I was unemployed. That's how my business career started. He goes, I got you a job. It's at this place. I said, what is it? He goes, you don't get to pick, dude. You're eating out of my fridge. Get your butt down there. And I go down there and it's an orphanage, McKinley Home for Boys. I end up in Cottage 8. All my boys in that cottage were wards of the court. Their parents were either dead, incarcerated, or had actually molested my boys. 8 to 10-year-old boys. And when I walked in the first day, they all turned and looked at me. Who's the new guy? I had no qualifications to be there. I didn't have kids of my own. I'm not a psychologist. I had a big ego as a baseball player. And all of a sudden that led to me getting them ready for school every day, taking them trick-or-treating, being there on Christmas Day with them, be there when their uncle stood them up for Thanksgiving. These boys became my sons, and I became their father figure at 22 years old. And I found something when I worked there that launched my business career that'll blow your mind. All these boys wanted, listen to me, was someone to love them, care about them. Here's a big one most people don't do for each other. Believe in them. You believe in somebody, you tell them their gifts, you are one on maybe 3 or 4 people in their entire existence, man. And you don't have to be perfect to believe in somebody. I believe in you. Love, care, believe. And then just show me how to do better, Eddie.